So how into a girl should you really be, you know? Is ignoring her gonna make her more into you, or will she just move on? Today we're diving into the whole mind game of ignoring a woman and figuring out how to pull it off without messing things up. Stick around. So I was talking to a buddy recently, right? And he's all worried that if he doesn't keep hitting up this girl he's talking to, she's gonna forget about him. I'm like, dude, why are you always texting her and trying to make plans? And he's like, well, if I'm not in touch, won't she just forget about me? It hit me that a lot of guys stress about this, and it not only messes up a girl's interest, but it stops them from using some cool psychology that gets a woman chasing you. So let's get into the whole deal of ignoring a woman and why it can make her pursue you. I asked my friend, do you freak out if you don't reply to her text right away or cancel plans? And he's like, yeah, won't she lose interest? I hit him with this simple question. When a woman does this to you, do you want her more or less? Think about it. When she takes her time to reply, are you forgetting about her or anxiously waiting for that text? When she cancels plans, are you less interested or do you actually want her more? It's kinda counterintuitive, but that's the attraction game. People want what's a bit uncertain or not always available. Now let's break down why this whole ignoring thing actually works, and I'll throw in some tips on how to pull it off smoothly. But before we dive in, let's clarify what I mean by ignoring a woman. Ignoring doesn't mean ghosting or being a jerk. It's more like not being super glued to your phone, you know? So it could be skipping those good night and good morning texts every single day. I hear guys telling me I text her every night and in the morning to check in. Ignoring might just mean not feeling this urgent need to reply every time she messages. We all know that panic when we can't respond right away. It's like, oh no, she'll think I'm not interested and she'll find someone else. That's the pressure I'm talking about. But it's not just about texting. It's also about how you handle things in person. Like if it's a girl from your social circle or a female friend you're into, do you always rush to greet her at every event? When you see that cute coworker, do you give her all your attention, or can you chill without saying hi every time you walk into work? It's about managing your attention currency, you know? Are you handing it all over, or can you hold back a bit? That's the deal when we talk about ignoring a woman. It's about being smart with where you put your attention. Now let's break this down. I want to dive into 5 different aspects of this whole thing. The first one on the list is checking in. And man, this is a big one. It's the reason I decided to make this whole video. I've had guys hitting me up, all anxious, saying, do I have to keep checking in with her? Checking in is like shooting her a text just to say, hey, I'm still around, don't forget about me. It's all about your need for reassurance, but here's the deal. Women can sniff out that neediness vibe. Now some guys might be thinking, but she texts me in the morning. Shouldn't I reply right away? Isn't that polite? Well, here's the catch. Always responding pronto messes with human nature. When we talk about the psychology of ignoring a woman, it's about making yourself a bit less available. Let me paint a picture for you. Think about emailing your favorite celebrity. You don't expect them to reply right away because, hey, they're busy and all that. If they did, you'd be stoked. But if they start texting you every second, suddenly they're not as cool as you thought. It's the same with a woman. If you're at her beck and call all the time, she values your attention less. It's subtle, but on a subconscious level, she feels like, this guy's got too much free time. And guess what? She'll test you. If you hand over all your attention too fast, she might start pulling back because, well, she values it less. Crazy, right? Now let's dive into the second piece of this whole psychology of ignoring a woman, and this one is a game changer. It's like one of the most crucial things to get. So check this out. Women link longing with love. Yep, you heard it right. They see longing as a sign of love. What I mean is, in a woman's mind, that feeling of wanting something like waiting for a text or staying up at night hoping to hear from you, that's what she thinks love is all about. Look at it this way. In all those romance novels, or even in shows like Sex and the City, remember Carrie and Mr. Big? It was all about longing. She never quite had all his attention. That feeling of not fully having you is what she associates with love. Now here's where nice guys can trip up. If you're always there, always texting back, always available, she never gets to long for you. No waiting for your text, no wondering when she'll see you next, none of that excitement. And that's the problem nice guys face. They think they're being noble by always being themselves, but in reality, they're robbing her of what she craves. You're kind of selfishly denying her that experience of longing, you know? So that's why the psychology of ignoring a woman is a secret weapon. It makes her yearn for your attention, creates that longing that sparks real interest. It's pretty powerful stuff. Now let's dig into the third piece of the whole psychology of ignoring a woman, the mental challenge. This one's big. Just like how women tie longing with love, they also crave a guy who's a bit of a mental challenge. What's that mean? Well, it's about not being a total open book. You know, she wants to wonder, does he like me? How much does he like me? Is he seeing other people? That kind of mystery is the challenge she's into. Now with guys, it's often about the physical side. Like, can I sleep with her? 'Cause, let's be real, she knows most guys are up for that. So she might play the make him wait game. But for a guy it's different. It's about keeping her a bit confused, making her work a bit for your attention. She actually likes that mental challenge. It's like a puzzle she wants to solve. You know, she wants to go home and dissect your behavior with her friends. It's like girl talk. The whole, why didn't he call? Or do you think he likes me kind of thing. Take that away and she loses interest. Without that extra element of trying to figure you out, she feels like something's missing. So when she says something's not sparking, it's often because that mental challenge is gone. Keep her guessing a bit, and you keep that spark alive. Now let's dive into another crucial part of the whole psychology of ignoring a woman, and this one's a game changer. Hot and cold behavior. Seriously, this stuff is potent, and I can vouch for it because, hey, it's worked on me. I've found myself chasing after girls who play the hot and cold game, and you know what? I've seen guys do the same thing. There's something about this whole hot and cold vibe that's just addicting, and it's not just me saying it. People all around admit they hate it, yet they can't help but get hooked. Now there's actually some science behind this. It's all about the psychology of unpredictable rewards. Think about gambling, the thrill of not knowing whether you're going to win or lose. That moment when the roulette wheel is spinning, you're waiting, and then the ball drops. Win or lose, that rush becomes addictive. In the dating game, it's pretty similar. The unpredictability, the wondering, the anticipation, it messes with your head, but in a strangely addictive way. Okay, imagine you're dating this woman, right? Some days you call her up and she's all sunshine and rainbows, hands all over you when you meet. Other days, she's kinda distant, a bit cold. Every time you go to see her, it's like a toss-up and you're left wondering which version you'll get. But here's the thing, that unpredictability makes you crave those warm, happy moments. Now when I talked about ignoring a woman, it's not about being cold all the time. If you're always freezing her out, she'll think you're not into her, maybe assume you've found someone else, or who knows, might even wonder if you're playing for the other team. On the flip side, if you drown her in constant attention, she'll lose interest too. It's like walking a tightrope, you know? You gotta be aware of not tipping too far in one direction. So hot and cold behavior is like this addictive cocktail. Think about it. There's probably been a woman at work or somewhere in your life who's all flirty and talkative one day, then acts like you don't exist the next. It's magnetic because it's a mental challenge, and we guys dig that challenge too. But for women, it's like a superpower. So when you throw in some hot and cold vibes in the mix of ignoring a woman, it actually amps up your attractiveness. It's like a secret weapon in the dating game. Now let's dive into the last piece of the whole psychology of ignoring a woman, and this one's a real gem. I always stress this with my buddies. One of the most attractive qualities in a guy is autonomy. It's all about being independent, self-governing, and not letting a woman control everything. Now some dudes see it as playing games, but here's the real deal. When I say you sometimes gotta ignore a woman or not reply right away, some guys hit back with it, I don't want to play games. But truth be told, they're doing these things naturally because they lack autonomy. They're putting their relationship with one specific woman above everything else in their life. Now flip the script and meet a guy who's into different areas of his life. Maybe he's killing it in his career, hitting the gym hard, and has a solid friend circle. This dude naturally knows how to prioritize, naturally knows when to give a woman some space, making him crazy attractive. So it's not about playing games, it's about naturally becoming more autonomous. The more stuff you've got going on in your life, and the more willing you are to put those things first, the more magnetic you become. It's like this unspoken attractiveness that comes from being your own person and not letting a relationship be your entire world. So let me paint you a scenario. You're hanging out with this woman, right? You've been chatting and she's all pumped, saying, hey, Tuesday I'm getting off work early. Can I swing by and see you? Now, your first instinct might be, wow, I dig this woman. I want to hang out with her. But here's the twist. Picture this. You've got a run planned for that day. Maybe you're training for a marathon or you're just trying to stay in shape, and at 5 o'clock on Tuesday you've scheduled a solid 5-mile run. Now the autonomous man, he's the one who says, hey, I'd love to see you, but I've got this run planned for that day. Maybe we could catch up a bit later in the evening or find another time. On the flip side, the nice guy, afraid that not giving in will make her forget him, he'll ditch that run in a heartbeat to be with her. He'll justify it, saying he can run any other time, but deep down, It's fear talking. Fear that if he doesn't see her, she'll forget about him. Fear that saying no will make her not like him. Now here's the real deal. When you tell her Tuesday, I had this run planned and I don't want to skip it, she's gonna think, he chose his run over me. And you know what? That makes you more valuable to her. It shows her you've got your own life. You're not making her the center of your world right off the bat. It's like a sneak peek into the fact that you've got your priorities straight. Now let's clear something up. I'm not telling you to never, ever put a woman ahead of something in your life. That's unrealistic. There will be days when you can skip that run or adjust your plans. The key here is not always putting her first. Don't make it a habit to skip the run every time she asks. If you've got a night out with your friends planned and she says she wants to see you, go out with your friends. Too many guys swing way too far in the opposite direction. They're ready to cut off their friends, ditch their hobbies, basically sacrifice anything just to get a bit of attention from a woman. That's not the move. It's about finding that balance, not always giving in, making sure you're doing it right. Your life shouldn't revolve entirely around someone else. You've got to maintain a sense of individuality. If you're digging this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe and drop a comment. Tell me what you're vibing with and what you want to see in the next video.